The world, your kaleidoscope. Nature itself aids every individual in the gratification of the thoughts they most encourage. Opportunities are continually presented that will most speedily bring to the surface the dormant good or evil thoughts within. Let a man cease from his sinful thoughts, and the world will soften toward him, ready to offer its assistance. Let him cast away his weak and sickly thoughts, and opportunities will miraculously spring up on every hand to aid his strong resolves. Let him steadfastly encourage good thoughts, and no hard fate shall bind him down to wretchedness and shame. The world is, in essence, your kaleidoscope. The ever-varying combinations of colors and patterns it presents to you at every succeeding moment are the exquisitely adjusted pictures of your own ever-moving thoughts. You will be what you will to be. Let failure find its false content in that poor word, environment, but spirit scorns it, and is free. It masters time, it conquers space. It cows that boastful trickster, chance, and bids the tyrant circumstance uncrown, and fill a servant's place. The human will, that force unseen, the offspring of a deathless soul, can hew a way to any goal, though walls of granite intervene. Be not impatient in delay, but wait as one who understands. When spirit rises and commands, the gods are ready to obey. Your destiny is not pre-written by external forces, but etched by the persistent, powerful strokes of your own mind. The journey from wretchedness to true well-being begins with a single, profound choice, the choice of your thoughts. The profound connection. How your thoughts shape your health and body. The age-old wisdom that our thoughts profoundly influence our reality often feels abstract. Yet, a deeper look reveals a direct, undeniable link between the landscape of our minds and the state of our physical selves. Indeed, the body, far from being a mere biological machine, acts as a diligent servant to the mind, meticulously obeying its dictates, whether consciously chosen or unconsciously expressed. This intimate connection means that our health, vitality, and even our appearance are deeply rooted in the quality of our thoughts. When our minds are consumed by negativity, fear, anxiety, malice, envy, or despondency, the body can rapidly descend into states of disease and decay. Thoughts of fear, for instance, are not just fleeting emotions. They can demoralize the entire body, leaving it vulnerable to illness and, in extreme cases, even proving as fatal as a physical blow. Those who live in constant apprehension of sickness are often the very ones who succumb to it. Impure thoughts, even those not physically acted upon, are said to shatter the nervous system, revealing the potent, unseen power of our inner world. Conversely, when the mind is filled with strong, pure, and joyful thoughts, the body responds by flourishing with vigor, grace, youthfulness, and beauty. It is described as a delicate and plastic instrument, readily molded by the impressions it receives from the mind. Our habitual patterns of thought, good or bad, inevitably produce their corresponding physical effects. This principle extends beyond mere physical ailments to the very bloodstream and cellular health. A clean heart and pure mind are the springboards for a clean life and a healthy body. Conversely, a defiled mind is the source of a corrupt body and a life weighed down by its impurities. Thought, then, is the fundamental fount of all action, life, and manifestation. The timeless counsel is clear: make the fountain pure, and everything that flows from it will be pure. This understanding challenges conventional approaches to health. Superficial changes, such as dietary adjustments, may offer little lasting benefit if the underlying thought patterns remain unchanged. When one purifies their thoughts, their desires naturally shift towards what truly nourishes them, even in terms of food. Therefore, for those seeking to perfect or renew their body, the true work begins with guarding and beautifying the mind. Thoughts of malice, envy, disappointment, and despondency effectively rob the body of its inherent health and grace. The notion that a sour face is a random occurrence is dismissed. It is meticulously crafted by sour thoughts. Wrinkles that mar the face are often etched by folly, passion, and pride, not merely by the passage of time. Consider the striking contrast: a woman of 96 years possessing the bright, innocent face of a girl, a testament to a sweet and sunny disposition. Or a man well under middle age whose face is drawn into inharmonious contours, a palpable outcome of passion and discontent. Just as a home cannot be sweet and wholesome without the free admittance of air and sunshine, a strong body and a bright, serene countenance can only blossom when the mind is freely open to thoughts of joy, goodwill, and tranquility. Even the wrinkles that grace the faces of the aged tell a story, some carved by sympathy and pure thoughts, others by the ravages of unrestrained passion. With those who have lived righteously, age bestows a calm, peaceful, and richly mellowed quality, much like the gentle hues of a setting sun. In essence, there is no physician more potent than cheerful thought for dispelling bodily ills, and no comforter more profound than goodwill for scattering the shadows of grief and sorrow. To perpetually dwell in thoughts of ill will, cynicism, suspicion, and envy is to forge one's own mental prison. But to cultivate positive regard for all, to embrace cheerfulness, and to patiently seek the good in every circumstance, such unselfish thoughts are truly the gateways to a higher state of being. To live day by day immersed in thoughts of peace towards every living creature will inevitably bring an immense, abounding peace to the one who possesses such a mind. Our thoughts are not just fleeting whispers. They are the designers of our destiny, the architects of our health, and the sculptors of our very being. The unwavering compass, linking thought to purpose for true accomplishment. Just as a ship without a rudder drifts helplessly upon the vast ocean, so too does a mind without purpose wander aimlessly through life. For the majority, the bark of thought is allowed to drift upon the currents of circumstance, yielding to every passing breeze of fancy or distraction. Yet, this aimlessness is not merely unproductive. It is a profound vice that inevitably leads to catastrophe and destruction for anyone who fails to steer their course with intention. Those who lack a central purpose in their lives become easy prey to the insidious whispers of petty worries, paralyzing fears, nagging troubles, and debilitating self-pity. These mental afflictions, though seemingly less overtly destructive than deliberately planned misdeeds, lead just as surely, albeit by a different route, to failure, unhappiness, and profound loss. This is an immutable truth of existence. Weakness cannot persist in a power-evolving universe. To escape this drift, a person must conceive of a legitimate purpose within their heart and set out with unwavering resolve to accomplish it. Whether this purpose takes the form of a spiritual ideal or a more worldly objective, it must become the absolute centralizing point of all their thoughts. Whichever path is chosen, one must steadily focus their mental forces upon the object set before them. This purpose must transcend all else, becoming one's supreme duty. Thoughts must be prevented from wandering away into ephemeral fancies, fleeting longings, and idle imaginings. This disciplined focus is the royal road to self-control and the true concentration of thought. Even if one stumbles, fails, and falls short again and again, as is an inevitable part of the journey until inherent weaknesses are overcome, the strength of character gained in each attempt will be the true measure of success. This forged strength will then serve as a new, higher starting point for future power and ultimate triumph. For those who may not yet be prepared to apprehend a grand, overarching purpose, the path to mental fortitude begins simply by fixing thoughts upon the faultless performance of their immediate duty, no matter how insignificant the task may appear. It is only through this dedicated attention to the present moment and its demands that thoughts can be gathered and focused, and resolution and energy can be truly developed. Once this foundation is laid, there is truly nothing that cannot be accomplished. The weakest soul, recognizing its own weakness and embracing the truth that strength is forged only through effort and practice, will instinctively begin to exert itself. Adding effort to effort, patience to patience, and strength to strength, such a soul will never cease to develop, eventually growing divinely strong. Just as a physically weak individual can transform their body through careful and patient training, so too can a person of weak thoughts build them into a formidable power by exercising themselves in right thinking. To cast aside aimlessness and weakness, and to begin to think with genuine purpose, is to enter the ranks of those strong ones who recognize failure not as an end, but as merely one of the many pathways to eventual attainment. These are the individuals who make all conditions serve them, who think strongly, attempt fearlessly, and accomplish masterfully. Once a purpose has been conceived, one must mentally mark out a straight, unswerving pathway to its achievement, looking neither to the right nor to the left. Doubts and fears must be rigorously excluded, for they are disintegrating elements that break up the straight line of effort, rendering it crooked, ineffectual, and ultimately useless. Thoughts born of doubt and fear accomplish nothing, and never can. They are the precursors to failure. Purpose, energy, the power to do, and all strong thoughts vanish the moment doubt and fear are allowed to creep in. The very will to do springs from the deep-seated knowledge that we can do. Doubt and fear are the great enemies of this essential knowledge, and anyone who encourages them, who who does not utterly slay them, thwarts themselves at every single step. He who has truly conquered doubt and fear has conquered failure itself. His every thought becomes allied with power, and all difficulties are bravely met and wisely overcome. His purposes are like seeds, seasonably planted, guaranteed to bloom and bring forth fruit that does not fall prematurely to the ground. Thought, allied fearlessly to purpose, transforms into an unstoppable creative force. He who grasps this profound truth is ready to ascend to something higher and stronger than a mere bundle of wavering thoughts and fluctuating sensations. He who does this has truly become the conscious and intelligent wielder of his own vast mental powers. The architect of destiny. How your thoughts shape your achievements. In the intricate dance of life, where aspirations clash with realities, and dreams either blossom or wither, what truly dictates our triumphs and failures? The answer, profound in its simplicity, lies not in external circumstances, nor in the whims of fate, but squarely within the confines of our own minds. As a foundational principle, all that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts. This declaration places the locus of power firmly with the individual. In a universe governed by an immutable order, the burden of individual responsibility is absolute. Our weaknesses and strengths, our purity and impurity, are not bestowed upon us by others. They are self-generated, evolving from our internal landscape. Consequently, their alteration can only come from within. Our condition, be it one of suffering or happiness, is an emanation of our inner world. The timeless truth resonates. As he thinks, so he is. As he continues to think, so he remains. This profound truth extends beyond mere personal attributes, shaping even the most complex societal dynamics. It's often been said that many men are slaves because one is an oppressor. Let us hate the oppressor. Yet, a deeper wisdom reveals a different perspective. One man is an oppressor because many are slaves. Let us despise the slaves. The ultimate truth, however, transcends this polarity. Oppressor and oppressed, in their seemingly adversarial roles, are in reality cooperators in a shared ignorance, each inadvertently afflicting themselves. A perfect understanding, imbued with compassion, perceives the underlying law at play, the weakness of the oppressed and the misapplication of power by the oppressor, condemning neither, but embracing both in their shared suffering. True freedom, then, is not found in external revolution, but in the internal conquest of weakness and the shedding of selfish thoughts. He who masters himself belongs neither to oppressor nor oppressed. He is free. The path to any form of success, be it worldly, intellectual, or spiritual, is paved with elevated thoughts. A man can only rise, conquer, and achieve by lifting up his thoughts. Conversely, he remains weak, abject, and miserable by refusing to do so. Even in the pursuit of material goals, a fundamental shift in thought is required. One cannot succeed while enslaved by slavish animal indulgence. A portion of this bestial indulgence and selfishness must be sacrificed. A mind clouded by such impulses cannot think clearly, plan methodically, or unearth its latent resources, leading inevitably to failure. To control affairs and shoulder serious responsibilities, one must first control one's thoughts. Our limitations are self-imposed, defined only by the thoughts we choose to entertain. Achievement, in all its forms, demands sacrifice. Worldly success directly correlates with a man's willingness to sacrifice confused, animalistic thoughts and instead focus his mind on developing plans, strengthening his resolution, and cultivating self-reliance. As thoughts ascend, so too does character, becoming more manly, upright, and righteous, leading to greater, more blessed, and enduring achievements. The universe, despite superficial appearances to the contrary, does not favor the greedy, the dishonest, or the vicious. It aligns with the honest, the magnanimous, and the virtuous. This universal law, echoed by great teachers throughout history, becomes self-evident to those who persistently strive for virtue by elevating their thoughts. Intellectual achievements are the direct outcome of thought consecrated to the pursuit of knowledge, beauty, and truth. While ambition may sometimes be present, these accomplishments are not born of such characteristics, but rather of long, arduous effort and the purity of unselfish thought. Similarly, spiritual achievements represent the culmination of holy aspirations. He who consistently entertains noble and lofty thoughts, dwelling upon purity and unselfishness, will inevitably, like the sun reaching its zenith, become wise and noble in character, rising into a position of influence and blessedness. Ultimately, achievement, in whatever sphere, is the crown of effort, the diadem of thought. The ascent of man is fueled by self-control, unwavering resolution, purity, righteousness, and well-directed thought. His descent, conversely, is aided by animality, indolence, impurity, corruption, and confusion of thought. It is a critical lesson that victories, once attained through right thought, can only be maintained through constant watchfulness. Many, upon achieving success, relax their mental discipline and swiftly fall back into failure. From the bustling world of business to the quiet realms of intellect and spirit, all achievements are the direct result of definitely directed thought. They are governed by the same immutable law and achieved by the same method. The only difference lies in the object of attainment. The scale of accomplishment is directly proportional to the scale of sacrifice. He who would accomplish little must sacrifice little. He who would achieve much must sacrifice much. He who would attain highly must sacrifice greatly. Our thoughts are not mere fleeting impressions. They are the very blueprints of our destiny. To understand this is to grasp the reins of our own lives, shaping our reality with every conscious thought. The path to greatness, in any sphere, begins and ends within the profound power of our own minds. The unseen architects of reality. How visions shape our world. In a world often defined by its tangible realities and pressing demands, a profound truth whispers from the unseen. Humanity is sustained not merely by what is visible, but by the powerful, beautiful visions of its solitary dreamers. These visionaries, often toiling in quiet contemplation, nurturing the very ideals that nourish us through our trials, sins, and mundane vacations. Humanity cannot afford to forget its dreamers, nor can it allow their ideals to fade and die. For in these aspirations, we find the very blueprints for the realities we shall one day inhabit. Think of the composer whose melodies stir the soul, the sculptor who reveals form from stone, the painter who captures beauty on canvas, the poet who gives voice to the inexpressible, the prophet who foresees the future, and the sage who illuminates wisdom. These are the architects of our afterworld, the builders of the heavens we seek to create. The very beauty and progress of our world exist because they have lived. Without them, laboring humanity would surely perish. The core of this transformative power lies in a simple, yet profound principle. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. History is replete with examples. Christopher Columbus, driven by an audacious vision of another world, ultimately discovered it. Nicholas Copernicus, fostering the vision of a multitude of worlds and a wider, sun-centered universe, revealed its truth. This philosophy extends to each one of us. Cherish your visions, cherish your ideals. Foster the music that stirs in your heart, the beauty that forms in your mind, the loveliness that drapes your purest thoughts. For it is from these inner wellsprings that all delightful conditions and heavenly environments will grow. If you but remain true to them, your world will at last be built upon these foundations. The text posits a radical yet compelling truth. To desire is to obtain, to aspire is to achieve. It questions the notion that our basest desires receive gratification while our purest aspirations starve. Such is not the law, it asserts, echoing the universal principle of ask and receive. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. Indeed, every great achievement began as, and for a time remained, a dream. Just as the mighty oak sleeps within a tiny acorn, and the soaring bird awaits within an egg, so too does a waking angel stir within the highest vision of the soul. Dreams are the potent seedlings of realities. Your current circumstances may feel uncongenial, but they are not immutable. They shall not long remain, so if you perceive an ideal and strive with unwavering conviction to reach it, you cannot travel within, mentally and spiritually, and stand still without. Consider the powerful testament of a youth, hard-pressed by poverty and ceaseless labor, confined for long hours in an unhealthy workshop, unschooled, and lacking all the arts of refinement. Yet, within him, a dream of better things began to stir, a longing for intelligence, refinement, grace, and beauty. He mentally constructed an ideal condition of life, and the vision of a wider liberty and greater scope took powerful possession of his being. This inner unrest propelled him to action, leading him to utilize every spare moment and meager resource for the development of his latent powers. Very soon, his mind became so transformed that his physical workshop could no longer contain him. It fell out of harmony with his expanding mentality, much like a garment cast aside. As opportunities aligned with his growing powers, he moved beyond it forever. Years later, this same youth emerges as a full-grown man, a master of mental forces, wielding worldwide influence and almost unequaled power. He holds the cords of gigantic responsibilities, and his words reshape lives. Like a sun, he becomes a fixed and luminous center around which innumerable destinies revolve. He has, in essence, realized the vision of his youth, becoming one with his ideal. And so, too, will you, the reader, realize the vision of your heart, be it humble or grand, for you will always gravitate toward that which you secretly most love. Into your hands will be placed the exact results of your own thoughts. You will receive precisely what you earn, no more, no less. Whatever your present environment may be, you will fall, remain, or rise with your thoughts, your vision, your ideal. You will become as small as your controlling desire, and as great as your dominant aspiration. The thoughtless, the ignorant, and the indolent, seeing only the apparent effects of things and not the hidden causes, often speak of luck, fortune, and chance. They observe a man grow rich and exclaim, "How lucky he is!" Witnessing another become intellectual, they declare, "How highly favored he is!" And noting the saintly character and wide influence of yet another, they remark, "How chance aids him at every turn!" They fail to see the trials, failures, and struggles these individuals have voluntarily encountered to gain their experience. They have no knowledge of the sacrifices made, the undaunted efforts exerted, or the profound faith exercised to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles and realize the vision of their heart. They see only the light and the joy, calling it luck. They behold only the pleasant goal, terming it good fortune. They perceive only the result, attributing it to chance, never understanding the arduous journey and the powerful process that led there. In all human affairs, there are efforts, and there are results. The strength of the effort is the exact measure of the result. Chance is, quite simply, not. Gifts, powers, material, intellectual, and spiritual possessions are not random occurrences but the hard-earned fruits of effort. They are thoughts completed, objects accomplished, and visions realized. The vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideal that you enthrone in your heart, this you will build your life by, this you will ultimately become. It is a profound call to introspection and deliberate aspiration, reminding us that the greatest power to shape our world lies not in external forces, but in the unseen, cherished landscapes of our own minds. Serenity, the jewel of unshakable wisdom. In a world often swept by the winds of chaos and the waves of fleeting emotions, there exists a profound and coveted state of being, serenity. More than just an absence of noise, calmness of mind is hailed as one of the most exquisite jewels of wisdom, a testament to a cultivated inner world and a cornerstone of true power. This profound tranquility is no accident. It is the culmination of long and patient effort in self-control. Its presence is not merely a pleasant disposition but a clear indication of ripened experience and a deep, intuitive understanding of the intricate laws governing our thoughts. The foundation of inner calm. A person becomes truly calm in direct proportion to their understanding of themselves as a thought-evolved being. This self-awareness extends outwards, necessitating an understanding of others as products of their own thoughts and experiences. As we develop this right understanding, perceiving more and more clearly the internal relations of things through the undeniable action of cause and effect, the incessant need to fuss, fume, worry, and grieve simply falls away. In its place emerges a poised, steadfast, and beautifully serene spirit. The far-reaching fruits of serenity. The ripple effects of serenity extend far beyond personal peace. A calm individual, having mastered themselves, effortlessly learns how to adapt to others. Consequently, those around them instinctively reverence their spiritual strength, recognizing a source of wisdom they can learn from and a pillar of reliability they can lean upon. The more tranquil a person becomes, the greater their success, their influence, and their power for good in the world. Even in the most practical realms, like business, an ordinary trader will witness their prosperity increase as they cultivate greater self-control and equanimity. Why? Because people are naturally drawn to, and prefer to deal with, a person whose demeanor is consistently equable and steady. An unshakable spirit. The strong, calm person is universally loved and revered. They are like a shade-giving tree in a thirsty land, offering solace and refuge, or a sheltering rock in a storm, providing unwavering stability. Who does not yearn for a tranquil heart, a sweet-tempered, balanced life? For those blessed with serenity, external circumstances, whether it rains or shines, or what changes life may bring, cease to dictate their inner state. They remain perpetually sweet, serene, and calm. This exquisite poise of character, which we call serenity, is often described as the last lesson of culture, the very flowering of life, and the ultimate fruitage of the soul. It is precious as wisdom itself, more to be desired than gold, indeed, than even the finest gold. In its radiant light, the relentless pursuit of mere money pales into insignificance when compared to a life lived in serenity. A life that dwells in the vast ocean of truth, far beneath the surface waves, beyond the reach of any tempest, abiding in an eternal calm. The cost of losing control. Yet, in stark contrast, how many lives are soured, how much beauty ruined, by explosive tempers, by the destruction of personal poise, and by the creation of bad blood. It is a sobering thought whether the vast majority of people do not, in fact, ruin their lives and mar their own happiness through a sheer lack of self-control. How few well-balanced individuals do we truly meet, those possessing that exquisite poise characteristic of a truly finished character. Indeed, humanity often surges with uncontrolled passion, is tumultuous with ungoverned grief, and is perpetually blown about by anxiety and doubt. Only the wise person, only he whose thoughts are meticulously controlled and purified, possesses the power to make the winds and storms of the soul obey his command, steering towards the shores of blessedness. To all tempest-tossed souls, wherever you may be, under whatsoever conditions you may live, know this. In the vast ocean of life, the isles of blessedness are smiling, and the sunny shore of your ideal awaits your coming. The power to reach them lies within. Keep your hand firmly upon the helm of thought. In the bark of your soul reclines the commanding master. He does but sleep. Wake him. Understand these profound truths. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. Say unto your own heart, with conviction and unwavering resolve, peace, be still. For in that command lies the pathway to true serenity, the ultimate jewel of wisdom, and the enduring power to shape your destiny. End of thoughts that forge your destiny.